Hey Hotshots, Jess with Emotional Fire Academy here today to tell you the only thing you have to do to get everything you want in 2021 as a highly sensitive person. So who am I? I'm Jess. I'm your driver operator on this journey. Welcome to Emotional Fire Academy. We are a channel for highly sensitive people who want to up level in life, to evolve, to live out their dreams, and to just rock. Just rock, be awesome and unstoppable. I am a master NLP practitioner. I am your guide on this journey today, and I'm going to tell you the one thing that I did that changed the game completely for me. And if you are a highly sensitive person, subscribe to my channel. I put out weekly tips, tricks, and tools to do the things that I just described to you to get better every week, to improve every week, to see improvements in your life. Watch this channel. It's all free, and you will learn how to do just that. I don't teach anything I haven't done myself. So, today I want to talk about this whole concept. And I've mentioned this before about how our personal experience of life is 90% prediction. So what our brain, our consciousness, I'm not really sure what it is it's predicting. I think it's kind of a mix of both your physicality and your consciousness, the spiritual element of you. That's kind of, is this non-localized awareness in the field, if you will. 90% of your experience of life is predictive. So the other 10% comes from your sensory data. So our five senses is only 10%. And so when you want to start consciously taking control of your experience, right? You're taking control of both of these things, right? We have to account for the 90% and the 10%. Now, this is where a lot of highly sensitive people hang out, is in the sensory part, because we're HSPs, so we notice everything and we analyze everything and blah, blah, blah. We get tied up in the 10%. So you're giving 100% attention, focus, and relevance to 10% of what's actually happening. So, and we're going to keep coming back to these numbers. 90% is prediction. So what is prediction? Prediction is controlled imagination, essentially, right? If you're predicting something, you're imagining that it's going to turn out a certain way, right? You're in your mind creating the scene of like, this is how it's going to turn out, and then it does. And that's what it does. That's prediction, right? And that is taking that sensory data as evidence of your prediction and bolstering it in, taking this information, popping up here, and then mixing in a bunch of imagination. Just stirred it up. And, the creativity that this part comes up with. Oh, man. We can turn any event into any meaning we want up here. This is very... when you think about it, when you think about things that you're upset about, they've already passed most of the time, or they haven't even happened, right? That present moment sensory data is so fleeting. By the time you actually experience it and process it with your senses, right, it's already done. It's already happened most of the time, and then it's kind of back into the realm of imagination. So imagination is key to this 90%. Right? And imagination includes the quality of your thoughts, the stories you're telling yourself, the story that you tell about the feelings that you're having, the actual body sensations. Because we can experience something in our body, and then that's when the 90% comes in and it's like, oh, let me apply this meaning, right? The meanings, the interpretations, the language we're putting all on it. That's just 90%. That's 90% of your experience is your imagination. And the crafting of this is how in control of your 90% are you? I can tell you that as you take greater control of the 90%, you will get what you want. And this is how we start doing it. So stick with me here. I hope you're understanding everything I'm telling you. So, and let's look at children, for instance, because we all come into the world with this inherently vivid and rich imagination, right? When you look at a kid, and they're, making a spaceship out of a cardboard box. And I mean, you watch them, they're in it. They're in that imaginal realm where they are really creating, their outer experience through this 90%. The 10% is telling them it's a cardboard box, but they don't pay attention to that part. That's a spaceship. I'm going to the moon. That's the 90%, and the joy that they get from that. I mean, have you seen, you know exactly what I'm talking about. That pure innocent joy of just loving life and the richness of the simplicity of taking that 10% and turning it into gold, taking essentially a cardboard box and turning it into a trip to the moon in that 90%. So unfortunately, socialization, I feel, beats the imagination part out of us, right? We're kind of told to press it down, don't pay attention to that, pay attention to the 10%. The 10% is what matters, But I want to tell you this, the most successful people in the world are the ones who've maintained their 90%, who see an idea, have an idea, play with it, experiment with it, work it out in here, and then it pops down into reality, right? It then manifests. They're excellent manifestors because they have not lost the power of the 90% of that controlled imagination. And so this is the conundrum that highly sensitive people are in, because we're told, we are very attuned to senses. We are always paying attention to the 10%. We're noticing it. We're getting that data. But really, we should be up here managing the 90%. That was the biggest shift for me when I went from, paying attention to the 10% and letting the 10%, fixating on it and telling stories about it. And when I stopped, it's just a matter of focus. Like, where is your focus? When you go from here to up to here, you turn back inside of yourself, you turn back in, and you start attending to the 90%. That is the biggest thing. This is the only thing you have to do, literally. So what did I do with my 90% this year? Oh man, I literally recreated myself as a business. I got business success. I've recreated multiple relationships that were pretty toxic from the outside. I totally recreated them, and to where they're now, they're in the sensory data, right? They're showing themselves in the 3D. When we talk about manifestation, they've made that transition from just my imagination, me practicing it in my imagination, experiencing it in my imagination, and it being so real up here that it then popped and permeated the 10%, and I see it as evidence out there in the real world too. Check out my video on manifestation if you want to learn more about the process of manifesting and the levels. This was a very popular video, so go ahead and check it out if you haven't already. I'll put the link above. But in terms of, getting what you want, financial success, I also, broke that threshold this year. I mean, I've created some really big things by attending to this and healed myself completely with the 90%. So how do we start doing this? How do we get into our imagination and start taking control of this 90%, right? The thoughts, the feelings, the stories, the meaning, the interpretation. How do we get back into this? So you kind of regain that childhood sense of imagination where you start to attend to your own needs in the 90%. Because, and I want to say this as an aside, because Dr. Joe Dispenza, who writes really great books, I think his most recent was Becoming Supernatural, they did a lot of experiments where they had people sit down and practice piano in real life, in reality, right? The 10%, they went and actually practiced for a couple hours a day. And then they had the other group who practiced in their imagination. And guess what happened? So 2 hours of practice, and the actual physical results of their improvement in playing when they put them all at the piano and said, okay, let's hear you play. They both had the same result. So your brain cannot tell the difference between these two things. Your brain can't discern this. Your brain cannot discern whether it's really out there in the real world. Because what is the real world anyway? What is it? It's kind of an illusion. It's an illusion of imagination, and between that, the 10%, and the 90%, the stuff that you through imagination are creating inside of yourself, inside of your experience, your inner world. So, if your brain can't tell the difference, why struggle with the 10? Go to the 90. This is you are the master of this 90. You are your imagination. You can create any emotion you want instantly in this world. This is a fun world. You can make anything happen in this world. And so starting to take control of this, when you see a situation out here that you really don't like how it's turning out, you don't like how it's making you feel, you go in here, as soon as you can, you go in here and you create the situation how you would want it to play out, or what you want to happen. And you feel the satisfaction of that, right? Because when you make it real in here, when you make it real in your imagination and you feel that and you're like, there's this sense of relief. It's like, that feels so much better. So much better than what I was seeing and sensing and feeling out here. So in doing that, this is the essence of manifestation, friends, of creation, of reality creation, is taking control of your 90%. Creating, giving yourself the emotional experience that you want to be experiencing out here, because it's almost impossible to do it in reverse. When you want to take control of this and get what you want in life, you got to start with the 90%. That's the world where you're the boss. You make anything happen because of your creative abilities, your creative faculties, your imagination. You can make anything happen instantly. You can be a millionaire in your mind instantly, right now, and you can feel it real. And you can feel it so real. If you practice it and get good at it, you feel it so real that it then pops into this part, and that last 10% comes into alignment. So, this is the key, friends, HSP, darlings, hotshots. Stop paying attention to the sensory data. I know that's counterintuitive because as highly sensitive people, that's our supposed master power, right? Is noticing this. Flip, just gently direct your attention back to your 90%. Go into your imagination, play out the situations as you would want them to happen, and feel the satisfaction of them playing out like that. And don't worry about it, I'm going to try to do it here so that it happens out here. Don't worry about this. Just feel the satisfaction of it in your imagination. Feel what it feels like. And when you start getting what you want up here all the time, you're like, I'm not worried about what that person just said, because in my mind, they told me the opposite. They told me the opposite. When you feel that, when you've taken control of that and made that happen and lived in that, and you get your way up here all the time, guess what? You get what you want in the 10%, because the 10% will eventually start tagging along. Because really, friends, the secret is that the 10% is imagination as well, right? It's imagination as well. It's because we're applying imagination over these supposed pieces of data that we're receiving. And so when we really take control of the 90, the 10 will eventually tag along when it's time. And that is the fun part, the magic of creation, of being a creator. If you want to be a creator, someone who responds to life and generates the type of emotions that they want to feel and takes control of that as a highly sensitive person, as a creative entity, that means that you're in charge of your 90%. The people who unfortunately are just paying attention to the 10, to letting it run them and run their lives, and it feels icky. It feels very constricted and limited, and go back to here, regain that childhood innocence Give yourself the emotional experience of life that you want. This is 90% of your experience, is your imagination. So take it back. Take back control of your imagination. The 10%, I promise you, will catch up. It'll catch up because it's imagination too in its own unique way. It's part of the illusion of being a human, is that it looks like it's outside of us. It really is us. And so eventually it will catch up. I promise. This is the experience I had this year. You know, I took control of this and everything else fell in line. I didn't have to worry about what was happening out there. And the better you get with the 90%, the better you get at imagination. The closer you get to yourself, the more self-assured you get, the more realizing that you are a creator and you're making all this stuff. You know, you see that, you feel, you get a sense that, wow, this is a huge portion of my experience, you know, and letting it just run amok or on autopilot was what was keeping me from experiencing what I want to experience. So experience it here first in your imagination. The 10% will eventually catch up with you and you'll have the full feedback circle. So, let me catch up with my notes. Yeah, and you're essentially expanding your imaginative capacity for your future experience for that 10%. Because when you're always getting what you want in here, you're always going to get what you want out here eventually because they're going to align. So you're priming yourself to tell better stories, to have better emotional experiences, you're building those the neuronal connections in your brain to fire in the ways that you actually want, as opposed to reacting to your reality, to the outside reality. So, what did you think? Leave me a comment below. Tell me about how you're going to, the first step you're going to do to take control of your 90%. And if you are a highly sensitive person who is looking for more one-on-one support in this way, I would love to help you. Reach out to me on my website, emotionalfireacademy.com. You can schedule a free 30-minute consultation and we can figure out if we want to work together and move you forward. So, thanks for watching. Have an awesome day. Get out there and create some awesomeness in 2021, friends. Bye.